Podcast, where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting your ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to row-out facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The Bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Hey there, and welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to for bold, no-nonsense dairy insights. Today, we're zeroing in on a game changer for your calves, textured starters. Think of it as the secret foundation to building healthier, more productive heifers right from day one. Whether you're a seasoned pro or new to calf nutrition, stick around. We're breaking down the science, the money side, and down-to-earth tips you can use today. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive, the show that uncovers the insights that matter most to dairy producers. Today, we're taking a magnifying glass to a feature article from the Bullvine that's sparking a lot of conversation across the industry. Heifer's lifetime value, a strategic investment in early nutrition.
That's right. And this deep dive, well, it isn't just about the immediate gains you might see in a calf hutch. We're going to break down how what might seem like a small decision in the feed room, maybe a few extra dollars here, a particular type of feed there, can actually make a monumental, lifelong difference for your herd's future profitability and productivity.
A monumental difference.
Yeah, it's really a strategic investment, one that pays dividends for years and years.
And what's truly incredible about this, what really jumps out, is that we're not just chasing immediate growth, are we? The article talks about something pretty profound called metabolic programming. The idea that a heifer's earliest nutrition can actually set her entire physiological trajectory, like a permanent blueprint for how productive she'll be throughout our entire life.
Exactly. That sounds incredibly impactful, doesn't it? Especially for any producer focused on their long-term bottom line.
It absolutely does.
So if you've ever found yourself, weighing the cost of a premium calf starter against a standard option, or perhaps wondered if phrases like textured feed are just, clever marketing.
Yeah, is it just jargon?
Right. Then you are definitely in for some significant aha moments today. We're going to distill the key takeaways from some really extensive research, including pivotal studies from Cornell University, and also the practical insights of leading ruminant nutritionists.
Okay.
And the goal is to give you a clear roadmap to maximizing your herd's genetic potential and ultimately your farm's profitability.
All right, let's peel back the layers then and dive into our first big theme, straight from the article. The foundational science. The stuff that underpins all of this. The article emphasizes that a heifer's early life isn't just a period of rapid physical growth. It's a critical developmental window driven by this metabolic programming. For you, our listener, who might be thinking about day-to-day operations, what exactly does this concept mean for the future of your herd?
That's a crucial question, yeah, because metabolic programming is really the cornerstone of this entire discussion. In simple terms, it means that the nutritional environment a calf experiences during its early life specifically, before it's weaned, can permanently and irreversibly alter how its body uses nutrients, how it processes feed, and ultimately how much milk it will produce as an adult.
Permanently, so no going back.
No going back. We're not talking about a temporary boost here. This is about establishing a physiological blueprint, essentially setting the switches, that determine the animal's lifetime productivity and profitability.
Wow.
Think of it like laying the groundwork for a skyscraper. If the foundation isn't strong and designed correctly right from the start, you're limited in how high and how efficiently that building can ultimately perform.
So it really is about the long game, setting the future potential of that animal right from the beginning. And the article, it really drives this home with some compelling data from Cornell, doesn't it?
Indeed. And this isn't just theoretical, right? It's been quantified in remarkable detail. Pivotal research by Soberon and colleagues back in 2012 conducted at Cornell University. It involved over 1,800 heifers across both a university herd and a commercial dairy.
Okay, so a solid sample size.
Oh, yeah. They found a direct and highly quantifiable link between this early nutrition and future performance, and what they discovered was, frankly, astonishing. For every additional kilogram, that's roughly 2.2 pounds, right, of pre-weaning average daily gain, or ADG, A heifer could produce an additional 850 to 1,113 kilograms of milk in her first lactation alone.
Wait, hang on. A kilogram of early gain translates to nearly a ton of extra milk in just the first lactation.
That's what the data showed.
That's not just a little extra milk. That's a multiplier effect of, well, truly remarkable magnitude.
It really is.
For a producer looking at their herd's total output, that's an incredible return on that early investment. It means decisions made in those first few weeks literally reverberate for years in terms of milk in the tank.
You've absolutely hit on the core insight there. And to truly grasp why this multiplier effect happens, we need to understand the fundamental difference in a newborn calf's digestive system compared to an adult cow.
Right. It's not just a mini cow stomach at birth.
Not at all. At birth, the calf's rumen is essentially underdeveloped, almost like a dormant organ. When a calf drinks milk or milk replacer, a clever muscular structure called the reticular groove reflexively shunts that liquid directly from the esophagus, past the developing rumen, and straight into the abomasum.
And the abomasum, just to clarify for everyone listening, that's essentially the calf's true stomach, right? Where the enzymatic digestion happens, kind of like our stomachs.
Precisely. That's where the main digestion of milk occurs. And this bypass is vital, because it allows the calf to efficiently digest and absorb nutrients from liquid feed, which is what it's designed for at that age.
Makes sense.
However, the crucial point here is that without the introduction of dry feed, like a calf starter, the rumen remains largely unstimulated and pretty much non-functional for solid feed digestion.
So it just sits there undeveloped.
Largely, yes. The entire objective of a well-designed pre-weaning program is to transform this underdeveloped rumen into what we proudly call the central economic engine of the adult dairy cow.
The central economic engine. I like that.
It's literally a construction project where you're building the future powerhouse of your operation right there in those first few weeks.
Okay, so if the rumen is this central economic engine, what are its key components? How do we actually build them? The article talks about these amazing finger-like projections called papillae.
Yes, those papillae, they are absolutely critical. Think of them as tiny absorptive fingers lining the rumen wall. Their main job is to vastly increase the surface area available for nutrient absorption.
Like the difference between a smooth bucket and a sponge.
Exactly. Imagine trying to absorb nutrients with a smooth-walled bucket versus a highly textured velvety sponge. The sponge is far more efficient. Now, if a calf is fed only milk or milk replacer, the rumen's papillae show minimal development. It's like having an engine that's missing half its cylinders it might run, but it's operating way below its potential.
Okay.
But the introduction of a quality starter grain, that acts as the key stimulus for this construction project. It quite literally triggers the growth and maturation of these vital absorptive structures.
So it's not just about filling the calf's belly with something solid. It's about sending a specific signal to grow and develop this critical internal architecture.
That's it, exactly.
And the article explains that the magic behind this transformation lies in what are called molecular messengers, these volatile fatty acids, or VFAs.
You've got it. When carbohydrates from grain are fermented by the incredible microbial populations that start to colonize the rumen.
Those rumen bugs.
Yeah, those essential bugs. They produce these VFAs. Acetate, propionate, and most importantly for rumen development, butyrate are the three main end products. And these VFAs aren't just energy sources. They are incredibly potent signaling molecules for anatomical development.
Like a little construction foreman.
That's a great analogy. Tiny, highly specific construction foreman directing the growth exactly where it needs to happen.
And butyrate specifically gets a lot of attention in the article. What makes it so special in this context? Why is it the star player?
Butyrate is the true star here for rumen development, no question. It acts as a direct molecular messenger that specifically stimulates the growth of rumen epithelial cells, those cells lining the rumen wall.
Okay.
But what's even more remarkable is that it simultaneously inhibits their breakdown.
Oh, interesting. So it builds them up and stops them breaking down.
Exactly. This dual action leads to a significant increase in both the surface area and the vascularization, the blood supply within the rumen.
More surface area, better blood flow.
Means far more efficient and complete nutrient absorption. Dr. Sarah Mills, a renowned ruminant nutritionist, captures it perfectly. She says, and I'll quote her directly here, "You only get one chance to build that rumen. Butyrate in a textured starter signals the rumen lining to grow and mature, setting the calf up for a lifetime of production. It's a biological investment with compounding returns.
Compounding returns. That's a phrase every producer loves to hear. And it really brings home just how permanent those early weeks decisions are. You can't go back and fix it later.
You really can't. That quote emphasizes the non-negotiable critical nature of this early window.
But how does the physical form of the feed, not just its ingredients, contribute to this healthy rumen environment? I'm thinking about rumination and saliva here.
That's a fantastic point, and it highlights another critical piece of the puzzle. The physical characteristics of a calf starter feed also play a direct and vital role in maintaining a healthy rumen environment through what we call the rumination-saliva connection.
Right.
Rumination, chewing cud, is a physiological process, and it's strongly stimulated by coarse, physically effective fiber in the feed particles.
So roughage or texture matters.
It really does. When calves chew textured or coarsely ground feed, they regurgitate it, rechew it, and this decreases its particle size, which significantly increases its surface area for microbial digestion.
It's like giving their digestive system a workout.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the direct, tangible benefit of that increased rumination, as the article details, is the production of large volumes of saliva.
And saliva isn't just for lubrication, right? It's a natural buffer.
Absolutely. Saliva contains bicarbonate, a natural buffer that is critically important for maintaining the rumen's optimal pH range, ideally somewhere between 6.2 to 6.8.
Why is that pH range so important?
Well, without sufficient buffering from saliva, the rapid fermentation of highly digestible starches from grain can cause a sharp, dangerous drop in rumen pH. That leads to ruminal acidosis.
Which we definitely want to avoid.
Definitely. We know acidosis can lead to depressed appetite, reduced feed efficiency, and ultimately some pretty severe health issues. So that physical action of chewing and ruminating, actively stimulated by a well-textured feed, creates a stable, healthy rumen environment where the microbial population can truly thrive, and efficient VFA absorption can occur without a hitch.
Just like a self-regulating system that we kickstart with the right feed.
You got it.
Okay, so if we connect all these dots, we're talking about a clear, direct, causal chain here. High-quality grain fermentation in the rumen leads to that all-important butyrate production, which then stimulates robust papillae growth and vascularization.
Right.
This, in turn, boosts nutrient absorption, leading to improved feed efficiency and ultimately optimal growth. This scientific understanding really provides the robust rationale for why starter feed, especially compared to just feeding hay or a milk-only diet, is absolutely essential for establishing that long-term foundation for productivity.
It's the difference between merely feeding a calf and truly developing its digestive system for a lifetime.
Exactly.
And this, of course, is where the debate around different starter types becomes so important.
Okay, so the science clearly points to the foundational importance of rumen development, and we know that's largely driven by quality starter feed. But then we hit this classic, often debated topic, textured versus pelleted starters. The article suggests it's a nuanced reality, not a simple either. For you, our listener, what's the real story here? How do we navigate this choice? Is one always better?
That's an excellent point, and you're right. It's definitely not as black and white as some might think. The efficacy of textured feeds, things like increased rumination and that vital butyrate production. It's most prominent when the starter is truly well-textured and, crucially, correctly applied within a comprehensive management program.
So quality and management matter.
Absolutely. But let's look at the data, because the evidence, well, at first glance, it can seem a bit contradictory. It really highlights that nuanced reality you mentioned.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Yeah.
What does the research say about the advantages of textured feed? Where's the evidence?
Well, a frequently cited study, Porter and colleagues in 2007, for example, found quite marked benefits for calves fed a textured starter over a pelleted one. Calves on the textured feed showed significantly higher body weight gain from week 5 to week 8. We're talking 36.4 pounds versus 28.4 pounds for those on the pelleted feed.
Wow, that's a substantial difference in gain during that key period.
It is. And they also consumed substantially more starter during that same crucial period, 100.4 pounds compared to 84.3 pounds.
So higher intake, higher gain. That's pretty clear from that study.
Yeah, a clear advantage in both intake and growth during a critical phase of development.
But it gets even more compelling when we look at the physical act of rumination, which we just established is so vital for rumen health, right?
Absolutely. The same Porter study found that calves on the textured starter began ruminating much earlier. On average, week 3.7 compared to week 6.0 for those on pelleted feed.
That's over 2 weeks earlier.
It is. And even more strikingly, they spent more than twice as much time ruminating, 21.0% of their time, versus a mere 8.7% for the pelleted group.
Double the rumination time.
Yeah. And this physical stimulation, this chewing cud, also led to higher digestibility of both dry matter and neutral detergent fiber, the NDF. So when you combine all these factors, the research from this study indicates that calves on well-formulated textured starters can eat 15-25% more, achieve 20-35% higher average daily gain, and spend over 140% more time ruminating.
Okay, those are some truly significant performance advantages for building that robust rumen. Hard to argue with those numbers.
They are compelling.
But we know pelleted feeds are still very popular for practical reasons on many farms. What's the case for pelleted starters? Why do producers choose them?
You're right to bring that up because practical advantages are a real consideration in day-to-day farming. Pelleted starters offer several benefits from a management perspective. Their uniform shape helps significantly reduce the risk of feed sorting.
So every mouthful is the same.
Pretty much, which ensures a more consistent nutrient intake for every calf. Pellets also tend to flow more easily in automated grain handling systems. They have a higher feed density, meaning more nutrition in less volume.
Easier storage and handling then.
Right. And often without sticky molasses coatings, they may attract fewer flies, which can be a real nuisance in calf runs, as you know.
Definitely. Flies are always a battle.
So these are all valid points that producers consider. Ease of use, consistency, storage.
Okay, so we have strong data supporting textured and clear practical advantages for pelleted. But then the article points out that some studies found no significant differences. For a producer listening, that can feel really confusing, almost contradictory. How do we make sense of that apparent discrepancy?
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky.
Is it really just about the label on the bag, or is there something deeper at play?
That's a crucial observation, and it brings us right back to the nuanced reality the article talks about. Several studies, including those by Jafari and colleagues in 2018, did indeed find no significant differences in starter intake, ADG, or feed efficiency between calves fed textured and pelleted feeds.
So sometimes no difference in performance.
Sometimes, yeah. This suggests that the advantages of textured feed aren't always universally observed across all research settings, or importantly, all formulations. The key to reconciling these apparent contradictions lies in looking beyond the simple textured or pelleted label and considering two primary factors: the quality of the feed's formulation and the specific environmental context of the study.
Okay. So it's not enough to just call it textured. It has to be well-formulated and functionally effective. Can you elaborate on that? What makes a quality textured feed?
Absolutely. A textured label doesn't automatically guarantee quality. A Canadian study highlighted this perfectly. They found a starter labeled as textured that contained only 37% processed grains.
Only 37%. That doesn't sound very textured.
Right. And calves fed this particular feed ended up with a dangerously low rumen pH of 5.06.
Whoa, that's bordering on acidosis.
Exactly. It's a clear indicator of suboptimal rumen function. This demonstrates that ingredient quality, the specific starch content, the type of functional fiber present, these things are far more important than just the physical form category. A poorly formulated textured feed can definitely perform worse than a well-formulated pellet. It's about what's in the feed and how those ingredients are prepared and combined.
That's a vital distinction for our listeners. Don't just trust the label, look at the formulation.
Precisely. Formulation quality is paramount.
You also mentioned the environmental context playing a role in these study results. How does that factor in? How can the environment change the outcome?
The environmental context of a study can significantly influence its outcomes, and this is often overlooked when comparing results. For instance, that Porter study we discussed, the one showing strong benefits for textured feed. Those calves were housed in elevated stalls without bedding and fed a relatively low plane of milk.
Okay, not exactly typical for every farm.
Right. These non-standard conditions may have unintentionally forced earlier, more aggressive starter intake from the calves. This could have exaggerated the benefits of the textured feed in a way that isn't representative of all typical farm situations.
So the conditions push them onto starter faster.
Potentially, yes. On many dairy farms, calves might be on a higher milk plane or in group housing with bedding, which alters their motivation and timeline for consuming solid feed. It just underscores that we need to consider the whole picture of a calf's environment and diet, not just isolate the feed type.
That makes complete sense. Different conditions, potentially different outcomes. And what about health metrics? Beyond just intake and gain, Does the type of starter affect a calf's overall well-being? It's obviously a huge factor for producers thinking about vet bills and labor.
This is a really important point, and it introduces a critical, maybe third-order metric for evaluating feed that goes beyond simple growth rates. The Jafari et al. Study from 2018, for example, found that while there might not have been statistically significant differences in intake or gain between their groups, calves on a textured starter that included whole kernel corn did show better health scores and a higher non-disease probability compared to those on a pelleted feed.
So even if growth was similar, the textured group was healthier.
That's what they found, yeah. This highlights that a well-formulated textured starter can genuinely contribute to a healthier, more resilient calf, even if the immediate growth numbers aren't wildly different on paper.
And fewer sick calves mean less treatment, less labor, less stress.
Exactly. Real savings and benefits right there.
That's a huge factor for producers. And what about that dreaded post-weaning slump? Does textured feed play a particular role in maybe mitigating that transition challenge?
Yes, the risk of a post-weaning slump is a central concern for many producers, and rightly so. This phenomenon, sometimes called a pendulum swing, often happens when high milk or milk replacer intake during the pre-weaning period suppresses early starter consumption.
So they're relying too much on milk.
Right, which leads to an underdeveloped rumen. Then, when the milk is removed at weaning, the calf's immature rumen simply isn't ready to handle the full nutrient load from solid feed, resulting in that sharp drop in performance in ADG.
Okay.
The choice of starter feed is most critical in this scenario. A well-formulated textured feed can significantly help ensure that pre-weaning gains are truly driven by a functional, developing rumen.
So it prepares them better for the switch.
Precisely, thereby greatly mitigating the risk of that painful post-weaning performance drop. The goal is to avoid that abrupt halt in ADG and keep them growing steadily.
Okay, so if we try to synthesize all this, look at a summary of these key performance metrics and the research. What's the big picture takeaway regarding textured versus pelleted? What stands out to you, for you, our listener, to consider?
Well, if we synthesize the illustrative data, studies like Porter's clearly show potential for higher ADG and starter intake, along with earlier and more extensive rumination for quality textured feeds. That's one side. Then, while other studies like Jafari sometimes show no statistically significant differences in ADG or intake, they do often highlight benefits in terms of better health scores and evidence of earlier, more robust rumen function.
So the benefits might be more than just weight gain.
Exactly. So while specific growth numbers might fluctuate based on study conditions and, critically, the exact formulation of the feed, the consistent message seems to be about promoting better rumen development, earlier functional activity, and often improved health outcomes with a well-chosen, quality textured starter.
It's about building that foundation, building that engine, not just chasing a single number on the scale.
You've nailed it. That's the key takeaway.
Okay, so we've established the scientific why, that metabolic programming and rumen development, and we've explored the performance how, the nuanced debate around feed form. Now let's move to what often matters most for producer making decisions, the show me the money aspect. What does all this biological advantage actually mean for a farm's bottom line?
Right. This is precisely where this transitions from just, another expense into a truly strategic investment. The scientific data translates directly into a tangible financial model that can drastically impact profitability. Remember that pivotal Soberon et al. Research from Cornell we talked about?
The one with the 1,800 heifers.
That one. A 1 kilogram increase in pre-weaning ADG means an additional 850 to 11,113 kilograms of milk in the first lactation alone.
Still staggering numbers.
They are. So let's crunch some numbers for you, our listener. Let's be conservative. Even an increase of just 0.5 kilograms, or about 1.1 pounds, in pre-weaning ADG.
Okay, half a kilo gain.
With a milk price of, say, $17 per hundredweight, that means an extra $318.75 in the first lactation alone. At $19 per hundredweight, that value would be even higher, generating approximately $338.
Just from that extra half kilo of gain before weaning.
Just from that. We're talking hundreds of dollars of additional revenue from a relatively small biological change nurtured in the first 2 months of a calf's life.
Hundreds of dollars from a small change in early life that really makes the case for strategic investment. It's not just a cost, it's a genuine opportunity.
Absolutely.
But what does that investment typically cost? What's the premium for these feeds? And what kind of astonishing return can a producer actually expect? You mentioned ROI.
Yeah, let's look at that. The premium for high-quality textured calf starters typically ranges from maybe $40 to $85 per ton based on regional market reports. It varies, of course. When you break that down to an individual calf for the entire pre-weaning period, it translates to approximately $25 more per calf compared to a basic pelleted starter. Maybe $30 in some cases.
So maybe $25, $30 extra cost per calf.
Around there. Now, compare that modest additional investment to the potential returns. Analysis combining various research points suggests a net benefit of around $313 per calf and an extraordinary 12,252% return on investment.
Sorry, did you say 1,200% ROI?
1,252% ROI, yeah. From just first lactation milk production alone when feeding a premium textured starter compared to a standard approach.
That's not just a good investment, that's almost unheard of in agriculture or, frankly, in many investment sectors.
It is remarkable.
Are we truly saying that a few extra dollars spent in a calf's first few weeks can genuinely become the single most profitable decision a dairy producer makes all year per animal?
Well, based on this analysis, you've absolutely amplified the aha moment there. It's a remarkable return driven by those compounding biological advantages we discussed.
Incredible.
And when this specific starter investment is combined with other strategic calf nutrition elements and a robust management program, because feed alone isn't magic.
Right, the whole package.
The total net benefits can actually reach an incredible $1,159 per calf, with an overall ROI still around 724%.
Still over 700%.
Yeah, we're talking about taking a marginal extra cost and turning it into a truly transformative financial gain for your operation.
Wow. Those are astonishing numbers. And the article also points out that the payback period for this kind of investment is remarkably fast. It's not like waiting years.
It truly is. The payback period for this investment is typically within 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months.
This rapid return is driven not just by the feed itself, but by a cascading effect of compounding benefits that extend far beyond simply increased first lactation milk yield. It's a fundamental improvement to the animal's entire productive life, starting right from day one.
Okay, so let's dive into those compounding benefits then.
Yeah.
What else does this early investment impact beyond just more milk and the first lactation? What's the bigger picture for a producer?
The benefits are pretty extensive, and they really do persist throughout the animal's entire life. First, there's accelerated growth, obviously. Higher average daily gain means heifers reach their target weights and frame sizes faster.
Which gets them ready for breeding sooner.
Exactly. Critical for hitting breeding targets and future productivity goals more efficiently. Second, this leads to potentially earlier weaning. When a calf consistently consumes sufficient starter, remember that rule, at least 3 pounds per day for 3 consecutive days, it can often be weaned earlier.
And that saves money on milk or replacer.
Directly, which, as you know, is a significant line item in calf raising budgets.
Yeah.
Real savings there.
And I imagine improved health also translates to significant savings beyond just the feed costs. Fewer vet visits, less medicine.
Absolutely. Third, you consistently see improved health. Better rumen development and a healthier digestive system reduce the incidence of common calf ailments like scours and other digestive issues. This directly translates into lower veterinary costs, reduced medicine usage, and less labor dedicated to caring for sick animals, all real-world savings for you.
Makes sense.
Fourth, it allows for potentially earlier entry into the milking herd. An optimal growth trajectory can significantly reduce the age at first calving.
So they start producing milk and revenue sooner.
Right. Bringing that heifer into productive lactation and revenue generation sooner, which accelerates your return on investment for that animal.
And the long-term impact on the entire herd's longevity and reproductive performance must be substantial too. That sounds like a long-term profit center just from getting the start right.
Indeed. The effects of early nutrition persist well beyond just the first lactation. That Cornell data we keep mentioning. It specifically shows that a 1 kilogram increase in pre-weaning ADG is associated with an impressive 2,280 kilograms of additional milk over 3 lactations.
Over 3 lactations. That's nearly 5,000 pounds of extra milk per cow over her productive lifespan.
Huge difference. Moreover, improved pre-weaning growth also leads to improved reproductive performance, things like earlier breeding success, fewer open days.
Less time waiting, more time milking.
Exactly, and enhanced longevity in the herd. All of these factors further reduce expensive replacement costs, which typically range from $1,800 to $2,500 per animal, sometimes more.
So keeping productive cows in the herd longer is a big win.
Massive. Extending the productive life of a cow by even a few months, let alone an entire lactation, represents a huge financial advantage. And consider this. The typical dairy cow often doesn't even reach break-even until around 2.1 to 2.8 lactations.
So getting them productive early and keeping them longer is critical for profitability.
Absolutely critical. Any investment that enhances early productivity and longevity becomes particularly valuable for the overall enterprise profitability and sustainability of your farm.
So it's really not just about one lactation. It's about building a fundamentally better, more resilient animal that pays dividends for years and years. It's the difference between merely raising a heifer and cultivating a true profit center for your future herd.
Well said.
If we look at the illustrative data that summarizes this, comparing maybe a standard program to a premium program, the numbers really tell the whole story, don't they?
They absolutely do. Our illustrative economic model, which kind of synthesizes average industry data, highlights this clearly for you, the listener. A standard program might see a pre-weaning ADG of around 0.8 kilograms per day, maybe leading to about 40 kilograms total gain by weaning.
Okay.
A premium program, strategically driven by quality textured starter and attentive management, can potentially push that to 1.1 kilograms per day ADG, resulting in approximately 55 kilograms total pre-weaning gain.
Quite a difference in gain.
It is. Now, the upfront cost difference for the starter might be around $30 more per calf. Let's say $180 versus $150 total feed cost pre-weaning.
Okay, $30 extra investment.
But look at the benefits that ripple out. Health costs could potentially drop from $50 per calf down to $25. Weaning age could reduce by a week or even two, saving significant milk replacer costs.
Yeah.
And that estimated first lactation revenue increase we talked about, a significant $200, $300, maybe more, depending on milk price.
And that all leads to that quick payback.
This leads directly to that impressive 6 to 8 month payback period we mentioned. Now, it's important to remember these are illustrative, right? They will vary by region, market price, specific farm conditions, your management.
Of course, every farm is different.
But the overall trend and the potential dramatic impact on profitability are pretty undeniable based on the available science and economics.
The numbers are incredibly compelling, and the science is unequivocally clear. But, as any farmer knows, the best science and the most impressive numbers only count if they can be effectively put into practice on the farm. Theory is one thing, reality is another. The article really stresses that these financial gains are only realized when combined with a comprehensive, diligent management protocol. You can't just buy the feed and expect magic.
You've absolutely nailed it. The best feed in the world won't make a difference without the right management underpinning it. It's a truly holistic approach, and it starts literally from the moment of birth. Let's walk through the steps, because each one is critical for unlocking that full potential we've been talking about.
Okay, where do we begin?
First, and this cannot be overstated, colostrum is king. It is absolutely essential to feed a minimum of 3 liters, preferably 4, of high-quality colostrum within the first 6 hours after birth, ideally sooner.
High quality and fast. Why is that so critical?
It provides crucial passive immunity. Those antibodies the calf gets from mom are vital for setting up its immune system for success in those vulnerable early wits when its own immune system is still developing. Missing this window or feeding poor quality colostrum significantly compromises a calf's future health and potential, period.
Okay, step 1. Excellent colostrum management. What's next for their liquid diet?
Following colostrum, you need to implement a high-quality milk or milk replacer program. And this isn't a one-size-fits-all approach either. Feeding rates should be carefully and consistently adjusted based on the individual calf's weight and, critically, the environmental temperature.
Temperature matters a lot, doesn't it?
Huge difference. Calves in colder weather need significantly more energy just for maintenance, just to stay warm. So their liquid feed needs to reflect that to ensure adequate nutrient intake for both maintenance and robust growth. Monitoring body condition and intake daily is really key here. You have to watch the calves.
Okay. And here's one I think many producers might overlook or perhaps not prioritize enough. Water. The article calls it the unsung hero, and for good reason. Why is clean, fresh water so critically important right from day one?
This is a point that, as you said, cannot be stressed enough, and it's so frequently underestimated. It seems simple, but it's vital. Think about it. The water a calf consumes from milk actually bypasses the rumen, going straight to the abomasum via that esophageal groove we discussed.
Right, the milk bypass.
But plain, fresh drinking water bypasses this groove and goes directly into the rumen.
So drinking water goes where we need it for starter digestion.
Exactly. Why does this matter so much? because water is absolutely vital for fermentation, for those tiny microbes to do their job properly, and for the entire microbial population to develop efficiently. Studies consistently show that calves given free choice, clean water from day one, consume significantly more starter feed and demonstrate higher weight gain than those without it.
Wow, just from having water available.
Yes. Without sufficient water, the rumen microbes simply can't function optimally, no matter how good or how much starter you offer. So don't just think about what's in the bucket for milk. Think about the essential liquid for life. Provide clean, fresh water from day one, freely available. And make sure those buckets or troughs are spotless, changed multiple times a day if necessary. It's non-negotiable.
Got it. Water from day one. Unsung hero indeed. So once we have the colostrum, liquid feed, and water handled, when do we actually introduce the solid starter feed itself to kickstart that rumen development we need?
Early starter introduction is absolutely key. You should introduce calf starter as early as 3 to 5 days of age.
Really? That early?
Yes. Start with small, fresh amounts, just a handful. Maybe put it in the bucket after they finish their milk, just to pique their curiosity. The quantity should then be increased gradually as the calf's appetite grows, always ensuring it's fresh and palatable. Remove uneaten feed daily. You want to make it an attractive option right from the start.
Keep it fresh, keep it appealing.
Exactly. And here's another critical point linked to that. Weaning should be by intake, not the calendar.
Okay, explain that. What's the target intake?
The primary non-negotiable criterion for weaning should be consistent starter consumption, meaning the calf is eating at least 3 pounds of starter per day for 3 consecutive days.
3 pounds for 3 days. Got it.
Rather than simply weaning at a fixed date, like 8 weeks old, this ensures the rumen is truly developed and physiologically ready to handle the full transition to solid feed, which is the best way to prevent that post-weaning slump.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Weaning by intake really ensures the calf is physiologically prepared for the change, not just chronologically ready.
Yeah.
But even with the best preparation, we often see that post-weaning slump sometimes. How do we best navigate that transition period to minimize the stress and the impact on growth?
Yeah, the post-weaning slump is a common challenge, that pendulum swing drop in ADG. And as we said, it's often a direct result of an underdeveloped rumen from insufficient starter intake during the pre-weaning period. Mitigating this slump requires careful, strategic transition management. It's not just about pulling the milk.
What are the strategies?
Well, strategies include gradually reducing the milk allowance over several days, maybe a week, to actively encourage greater starter intake before the actual final weaning day. This helps the calf adapt more smoothly.
So taper off the milk, don't just cut it cold turkey.
Right. You also want to maintain the calf in the same housing environment, same social group if possible, for at least 1 week after weaning. This minimizes any additional environmental or social stress during this vulnerable period. Stress suppresses appetite.
Keep things consistent.
Keep things consistent. And, critically, ensure the calf is healthy, robust, and stress-free before you even start the weaning transition. A sick or stressed calf won't eat well, regardless of the feed or your weaning strategy. Health comes first.
Okay, that brings us to another hotly debated topic among producers. Forage. Hay. When should calves be introduced to hay or other forages? The article really dives into this nuance, and there seems to be some disagreement out there.
The forage question is all about precision timing, and it's a critical management decision with potential downsides if done wrong. While some research indicates that small amounts of finely chopped forage can offer some benefit for rumen health by maybe encouraging cud chewing.
Okay, potential small benefit.
The overwhelming expert consensus and the majority of studies caution against early or excessive forage introduction during that critical pre-weaning period, especially before significant starter intake is established.
Why the caution? What's the downside of early hay?
The rationale here is crucial, and it goes back to VFAs. Forages ferment in the rumen primarily into acetate. Acetate is a VFA, an energy source, yes, but it doesn't stimulate papillae growth nearly as effectively as butyrate from grain.
So if forage largely produces acetate, and we need that butyrate for those papillae, then early forage actually hinders the very development we're trying to promote with the starter.
Precisely. You're swapping a less effective growth stimulator for the key one. And not only that, but bulky forages fill the calf's limited digestive capacity.
They fill up on hay instead of starter.
Exactly. A young calf's rumen is still small. If you fill it with bulky, less nutrient-dense hay, it directly suppresses the intake of the more nutrient-dense starter feed, which is what delivers that critical butyrate and other essential nutrients. This can significantly delay optimal rumen development and consequently overall growth. It's counterproductive to our main goal.
So what's the recommendation then? When should we offer hay?
The consensus from many experts, based on the science, is clear. Delay offering significant amounts of hay or other forages until calves are consistently consuming at least 5 to 6 pounds of starter per day.
5 to 6 pounds of starter first.
Yes, which typically occurs around 7 to 8 weeks of age, often post-weaning. This allows the rumen to develop properly with the crucial butyrate stimulation from grain before you start adding significant bulk. Get the engine built first.
Okay, that makes sense. Prioritize starter, delay forage. Beyond the feed and the calf itself, what about the practical management considerations for handling these textured feeds on the farm? They're often different from pellets, right? More variable.
That's a great practical question because textured feeds do have some specific requirements that you need to factor into your daily operations to get the most benefit. For storage, climate-controlled bins or careful storage management is often important for textured feeds due to their susceptibility to moisture uptake, especially if they contain molasses. Moisture can lead to mold or spoilage.
Okay, keep it dry and fresh.
Exactly. Dust control may also require attention, especially during humid conditions or if the feed is handled aggressively. You want to minimize fines. A twice-daily feeding schedule is highly recommended for starter feed in general, but especially textured. It helps maintain freshness, particularly in warmer weather.
So it doesn't sit out and get stale or potentially moldy.
Right. And it encourages consistent intake as calves always have a fresh, appealing meal in front of them. And perhaps most importantly, feed freshness requires regular turnover of your feedstock and vigilant monitoring for any signs of mold, spoilage, or contamination. These seemingly small details ensure you're getting the full nutritional benefit of your investment in that premium feed. Don't let poor storage ruin good feed.
Good points. Attention to detail matters there too.
Right.
And what about the broader industry? Are producers really adopting these textured starters? And how is the feed industry responding to this scientific evidence? Are things changing?
We are definitely seeing significant shifts in regional trends and industry response. The adoption of quality textured starters is increasing notably in traditional dairy regions like Wisconsin and New York. Producers there are keenly recognizing the value, especially during challenging winter months when calf health, growth, and every calorie count is absolutely paramount.
So demand is growing.
It seems so. And this growing demand has also spurred the feed manufacturing industry to invest heavily in improved production technologies. Modern textured starter manufacturing now emphasizes things like consistent particle size, gentle mixing techniques to minimize undesirable fines, those dusty bits that calves often sort out or don't like.
Better quality control then.
Yes, and precise liquid ingredient application like molasses, ensuring palatability and nutritional consistency in every bag. This means you, our listener, are likely getting a more reliable and effective product than perhaps was available years ago. The industry is adapting.
Good to know.
And finally, always remember that customization is key. It's always, always best to work closely with a trusted nutritionist.
Your own advisor.
Exactly. To design a calf program that is specifically tailored to your regional climate, your available resources, your specific genetics, and your unique on-farm conditions and goals. There's no single silver bullet program for every single operation.
Work with your nutritionist.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So after all that incredible insight into metabolic programming, rumen development, the nuanced feed debate, and those really clear economic benefits, what's the ultimate key takeaway for a farmer listening today? What should you be thinking about for your own operation right now?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for you, our listener, is that the decision made in the feed room, it isn't just about a bag of feed. It's not just an expense line. It's a profound strategic investment in the long-term health and profitability of your entire dairy herd. And remember, that critical window for optimal rumen capacity development closes permanently between 8 and 10 weeks of age. Once that window is missed, those consequences are permanent for that cow's entire productive life.
Permanent, that's the key word.
It is. You truly only get one chance to build that foundational engine for profitability.
That's a powerful point. It really means prioritizing those early weeks are absolutely non-negotiable if you want to maximize potential. So specifically, what should our listeners be doing differently or focusing on right now to act on this knowledge? What are the action items?
Okay, action items. First, reevaluate your calf starter. Are you getting a truly well-formulated, quality textured feed that delivers on the science? The robust data shows it can boost intake by 15-25% and growth by 20-35%, leading to hundreds, potentially thousands of extra pounds of milk per cow over her lifetime. And remember that remarkable payback in just 6-8 months. This isn't just about faster growth. It's about building a fundamentally robust digestive foundation for life.
Okay, evaluate the starter. What's next?
Second, ensure your management protocols are absolutely bulletproof. That means high-quality colostrum within 6 hours, no excuses, ample liquid feed adjusted for individual calf needs and environmental conditions, and critically, free choice clean water from day one. Please, please don't underestimate the power of that water for rumen function and starter intake. It's so basic, but so vital.
Water, water, water.
Yeah.
Got it. And the third point. And finally, don't just feed by the calendar. Focus on consistent starter consumption, specifically that target. 3 pounds per day for 3 consecutive days as your weaning trigger. Let the calf tell you when it's ready.
Exactly. And consider very carefully when you introduce forage, delaying it until that starter intake goal is met to maximize that crucial early rumen development.
It's about building a robust, efficient engine for life, not just getting them to a certain age or weight.
Precisely.
The evidence we've discussed today overwhelmingly supports this comprehensive strategy, quality starter plus excellent management, as one of the most cost-effective and impactful improvements available to dairy producers today.
Indeed. And maybe think of it this way. Are you setting your replacement heifers up to just get by, to just survive?
Yeah.
Or are you actively empowering them to live up to their full genetic potential, setting them up to become the most profitable and productive foundation of your herd for years and years to come?
It's a choice, really.
It's absolutely a choice with potentially thousands of dollars on the line for each animal, impacting the sustainability and profitability of your entire operation. Ultimately, this deep dive shows us that a heifer's early life isn't just about growth, is it? It's about setting her destiny.
That's a great way to put it.
So as you head back to your operation today, maybe ask yourself, am I just feeding a calf, or am I truly forging the future profitability of my entire herd? The answer we've learned today lies in the details, in the science, the feed, and the management of those first few critical weeks. Great points. And that's probably all the time we have for today's deep dive. For more articles and insights like the one we discussed today, be sure to visit www.thebullvine.com.
And make sure you follow us wherever you get your audio content so you don't miss future deep dives. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us on the Bullvine Podcast. We hope you're as fired up as we are about giving your calves the best start with textured starters. Remember, great herds start with great calves. If you found value today, be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and drop us a review. From all of us at the Bullvine, keep pushing boundaries and building bold, profitable dairies. Catch you next time.